Hello friends, welcome to ACE Engineering Academy's solutions for ESE 21. After a long gap, you have taken examinations. Congratulations to all of you for taking the examination and stepping towards becoming a public servant in the near future. I am here to discuss the solutions for ethics part of the General Studies part of Engineering Services ESE 2021. In all, there were 10 questions from this part, and most of the questions are straightforward questions. Right? We'll take each question one by one. Before that, I might be willing to share with you that the pattern of the questions has changed compared to previous years in toto, if we say. The focus this year is on the legislations, philosophers, and the basic concepts of the engineering profession are the foundations of the characters of the engineers or public servants in the making. The questions were more focusing on the basics of the subject. Right? And the focus was given on philosophers also, who propounded what. And I think this is a good sign in terms of attributing credits to the people who contributed to the development of the profession and ethical conduct of human beings in general. Let's take the first question. Ethics part of the questions start from 29 and they go up to 37, 9 questions, and 100th question under statements is again an ethics based question. So let us take the first question, 29th question. Which one of the following statements is not correct about codes of conduct? We said repeatedly in our classes, through video lessons or our physical classes when they were going on. One of the most critical chapters in professional ethics is a question on code of ethics, a must question in every question paper, right? So, as is our promise, as is our word, the question has appeared again. So, the question is about which is not correct about. They cover general guiding principles. In fact, code of ethics cover general guiding principles. Their purpose is to regulate the conduct of members on various transactions. Definitely, when we become members of a professional society, we are guided by the principles and they direct us to behave in a pattern that is acceptable according to code of ethics. Statement B is also correct. Come to the statement C. These are broader sets of principles that are designed to inform specific laws and or government actions. Now, professional code of ethics are the code of ethics prepared by the professional bodies on their own independently. They are standalone in their own nature. They are not to do with the laws and regulations made by the government. So, this is not in line with what is code of ethics. So, C is the correct answer. For the academic purposes, we will also see the fourth option, that is D option. These translate the values into specific behavioral standards, keeping in mind the possible reflection on the stakeholders' interest. The stakeholders here are public, profession, organization. So, all the three are to be satisfied in terms of our conduct, and our conduct is to be evaluated based on the value system that we inculcate, we develop in ourselves, and we behave according to the value system that is acceptable to all the three stakeholders. So, the answer is C, and explanation is also given here. We are proud to say that more than half of the questions, remaining 6 questions, have appeared from our material only. The reference also is given here, and on page number 28, you see the discussion pertaining to this question, code of ethics. Let's go to the next question, question number 30. The famous statement, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. And this famous quotation was given by none other than Mahatma Gandhi, the Bapuji. And in what context it was given? It was given in the context that people are not forgiveful in nature. they do not forget. So Gandhiji meant to say that if someone does wrong to the other person's greatness lies in forgiving the person who is indulging in wrong activity. But Gandhiji goes on to tell that it is very difficult to forget what the wrong the other has done. So he emphasizes that it is the greatness of the people to forgive. Only great people can do that. So Mahatma Gandhi's quote was this statement. We'll go to the next question, 31. Again, a straight question, an easy question rather, let me say this way, complexity wise easy question, straight textbook question, and it is a match one. 4 theories are given on the list 1, and who are the proponents of these theories is also given on the list 2. We are required to match the theories with the respective proposers or philosophers, let us say this way. So, what is the correct sequence? Now, in this case, the options given are mostly exclusive except for A and B pair and C and D pair. Here I go with the 2 theories that I know. I think that I don't know all the 4 theories. I try to crack the question with the help of the theories I know. For sure I know that Immanuel Kant proposed the duty theory. Duty ethics theory, Immanuel Kant. I go with C2 matching. C2 matching, and the tussle is resolved. I have direct answer in the form of B. For confirmation, I go with second one. The rights theory was proposed by John Locke, and D should be 1, and it matches with my work. And as usual, the other 2 theories were given by the respective Richard Brent and J.S. Mill, who worked on the utilitarian theories, rule utilitarian. And again, this question is covered, is in our material on page number 23, where we have said, while taking classes both offline as well as online, we alerted students that question may appear on philosophers also. In fact, on this page, we have tabulated various ethical and moral development theories and the proposers and the purpose and what is the key point of that. And this is straight question from that material. We are proud to say that our material could match with engineering services examination questions. Let me go to the next question, please. Which philosopher suggested wisdom, courage, temperance and justice as 4 cardinal virtues? The options given are Aristotle, Aquinas, Socrates and Plato. The answer is Plato. Again, this question is a moderate level question, we can say from engineering ethics point of view. Had it been a question on philosophy, this would have been a simple question. Normally, questions have appeared in engineering ethics pertaining to conduct of profession, majority. A couple of questions have appeared from philosophy also, because philosophy forms the foundation of any ethical conduct. So in that context, virtue ethics is one of the foremost theories proposed by Aristotle and several other philosophers at that point of time. Aristotle proposes 10 cardinal virtues. The word cardinal means pivot. That means all other virtues, all other characters, qualities that we imbibe are based on the pivot of these 9 virtues. Of these, the later or contemporaries of Aristotle proposed some of them to be very crucial, and they shortened the list of these cardinal virtues or pivotal virtues which form the basis of our conduct. And Plato picked the 4 virtues, wisdom, courage, temperance and justice, as the pivotal or cardinal virtues for guiding the overall conduct of a human being. Right? We have given small definitions also of this, right? For example, we have given wisdom refers to the habit of being in happiness always, having knowledge of good and bad, and having good judgment of what to do, what not to do. That is wisdom. Courage is the habit of being unmoved by fear, boldness of obedience to wisdom, and being intrepid in death. Face the death with grace. Temperance is the habit of moderation in use of pleasurable things. That means restraining ourselves from being tempted by physical pleasures, be it property, be it food, be it clothes, be it vices. Controlling ourselves or putting ourselves in right position, or what is said, the word is moderation of, right? The word, keyword moderation here, pleasurable things that give physical joy. We try to reduce upon them in increasing our character, building our character, right? Lastly, justice is the habit of rendering the other his, her rights and respecting and abiding by the law. A law-abiding person is a justice-oriented person. Justice is a little bit above law, and it tells that we should be fair to others and we should give the others what they rightly deserve and what is their right. Right? We'll go to the next question. Again, this topic was covered in our classroom. This topic is covered in our material. Also, of course, all the questions do not appear from our material. Right? So, this is a moderate question from engineering ethics point of view. We'll go to the next question. Groupthink, a noteworthy feature of the organizational settings within which engineers work and deliberate in groups, has been suggested by, again, this question is on showing gratitude to the proposer of this groupthink activity. As the name implies, groupthink means people thinking as a group or trying to strike a consensus of thinking process. This has both positive and negative effect. This we discussed in the context of environmental ethics, where groupthink is a negatively connotated word there. What the boss says or what majority say, minority will also accept it, though probably they know that the decision is not in the interest of environment, or it has detrimental effect or false negative consequences on the or impact on the environment. People go by groupthink. So groupthink is an activity, let me say this way, an activity that has capability to bring consensus among the group of people, but it also has negative effect. And it was proposed by Irving Janis in 1972. So what is it? It's a phenomenon that occurs when the desire for group consensus overrides people's common sense. See the sentence here? It is telling my common sense says it is wrong, but in a group I am giving nod to what the other people tell. So, and this happens in organizations and in the engineering groups also, right? Two well-known examples of this groupthink in action are the Challenger Space Shuttle, which we discussed in the classes. In the Challenger Space Shuttle case study, we did a lot. Groupthink caused a lot of damage there, and Bay of Pigs invasion is another one. And material discusses in one of the questions, groupthink is a question that we have given in one of the match following questions in the chapter on global issues under the topic environmental ethics. So we are again happy to say that our material covered the content for the examination. The next question, 34th question, select inappropriate statement about integrity. First one, it involves the discovery and communication of truth. Yes, it is. It is about being truthful, speaking truth and communicating the truth. It is correct about integrity. It leads to a concern for the whole situation in decision making, including an awareness of the professional's own attitudes, standards and value systems. And this is a little bit elaborate statement, and each part of it is also correct. A professional who is integral has a value system that is unperturbed or undisturbed throughout the lifetime. And his attitude towards being integral, that means truthful to oneself as well as others, even when someone is not observing. right? That is one aspect of integrity. Integrity, in fact, is a very complex term. It includes so many things. Some of them are taken here in this question to talk about integrity, and this question tries to tell what is not integrity, right? Take this statement 3. It is simply truthfulness or avoidance of lying. Maybe it is correct, but we'll go to the option D and then see which could be the correct answer. It ensures that professional does not accept moral distance. What is this moral distance? Normally we say that in the context of ethics, ethics change from time to time, place to place. Profession being an ethical community, professional being a member of an ethical community called profession, maybe the codes of conduct change from time to time. But a person with integrity is not distorted or deviated or disturbed by this, what is called as moral distance, ethical distance. That means what was ethical yesterday is not ethical today. But a person with integrity does not distance himself from this. He is not disturbed by this moral distance, right? Of the 4 sentences which are apparently correct, the weakest sentence is to be taken, weakest statement is to be taken. Of these, truthfulness is the weakest statement. Integrity is not just about being truthful or avoiding telling lies. No. First of all, the thought of lies should not come into the mind. That's what is integrity. So we see that C is the weakest statement, which is inappropriate. We don't say it is wrong. The question is also very excellently asked. It says inappropriate, right? Inappropriate about the integrity is C is the answer. Again, on page number 77, in the chapter dealing with public servants and ethical conduct, we give the title Ethical Governance. We talk about integrity elaborately over 2.5 pages in our material. We have covered elaborately about integrity. The next question, whistleblowing is in an organizational setup affects peer professional relationships, relationships with management, family relations. Which of the above statements are correct? Now we see the options. Before we see the options, we see the alternatives that we have. What is whistleblowing? Whistleblowing is the conduct of a person who is morally right and finds that some unethical or unacceptable conduct is being indulged into by the organization or a member of the organization, and this person wants to avoid that, wants to bring to the notice of the management. When the management does not support, goes to the public to bring to the notice of the public of these unacceptable activities that are taken up by the organization, which are not in the interest of the public safety or health or welfare or public property, any of these. Now, this is a professional activity that is going on in an organization. So, all the relationships, what is the question? It's in other words, it's asking about what are the consequences of whistleblowing. So, someone blows the whistle about the wrong activity. What is the consequence in the organization? Definitely, the person is going to invite enemies, and the impact is going to be at the friend level or peer level or colleague level. First of all, colleagues distance themselves from this person. They don't want to be in the bad books of the management. They want to distance. That is the first effect that happens. Second one, definitely management will be hostile to this person, and maybe the person will have to face the consequences of being suspended or terminated from services, or some other cases, some other action which is not right, not correct, would be taken off, because at that point of time the management or the peers evaluate in the ethical domain and say that this person is ethically wrong, though the person morally is right? So now, what are the consequences on the family of a professional act? Definitely not. Maybe by losing the job, the family is affected, but it's not a consequence of whistleblowing, right? It is a personal damage that happens to the person because of the family. Family relationships will not be broken at any point of time. Family is out of context here. So, third part, family relations, third statement should not be the part of the answer. Obviously, 1 and 2 are the answers. Again, this topic also we have covered in our material in the 6th chapter. We have covered every aspect of it. We are proud to say that almost every question that appeared in engineering services are from our classroom discussions and the material also. We are grateful to the students who have studied and performed well in the subjects also, right? We'll go to the next question. 36. Carol Gilligan is associated with the natural justice, the responsibility, the principle of loyalty and ethics of care. In the 2nd chapter in our material, on page number 19, we have given elaborate discussion about Gilligan's moral development theory. Gilligan is a philosopher who said that all the ethical theories, including the moral development theory proposed by Kohlberg, are biased towards male evaluation system and based on logic, reasoning, justification and punishment for not complying with it. She accuses rather that her observation, and she accuses that these are all based on the justifications done in an ethical conduct or a group conduct, whereas the decision should be taken with a due concern on the personal care, fairness and justice as well. Accordingly, she names her moral development theory as ethics of care. For example, when Kudankulam nuclear power project was to be taken, objections came from people around Chennai that nuclear disasters are catastrophic and it is not good for the public. At that point of time, concerns of several meetings were conducted. The engineering department, the government of India, the local government, the local leaders, support was taken to educate people about safety measures that are taken about Kudankulam project, and concerns of each and every group that was agitating were addressed and they were convinced and the project was taken up. So, Gilligan's theory is one of the influential theories in addressing the concerns of the public with due care and fairness and justice. Ethics of care is the correct answer for this. And this is on page number 19 in our material. Next question. Hooch and bootlegging refers to the prohibition law on unethical practices related to liquor, laws against giving money to beggars as a generous act, food adulteration rules, laws on checking the illegal business of duplicate goods. Now, this question falls under business ethics domain. Some laws are made to avoid unethical practices. Now, there is one possibility that this question could fall in rights ethics also, where welfare rights are very important. Government makes policies, laws in the interest of the public, enacts them in the interest of the public. But when we look at the question, the keyword here is unethical practices related to liquor. So, liquor is legally recognized business in most of the states. In fact, only 4 states in our country have banned liquor business, liquor trade, right? So, when we talk of legalized business of liquor, ethics come into picture. So, this question falls in business ethics domain, right? Several laws are made in order to broadly said, in order to protect the customers from being monopolized by the business people or taken for granted by the business community. Ethical business is one aspect, business ethics is another dimension of it, right? So, profit should not be priority in business ethics. Now, we see what is this law referred to. Hooch and bootlegging. Hooch means illicit liquor. Bootlegging means manufacturing, distributing and selling liquor in illegal means. So, this is an unethical practice because law does not permit it. And illicit liquor, by brewing the liquor by adding material which is spurious and injurious to health is causing, we call a popular name for this is Gudumba, which is not acceptable, which is totally dangerous to the health of the people, right? So the answer is prohibition law on unethical practices related to liquor. The key word in the question is hooch, and it is related to liquor. Now, adulteration rules, food adulteration rules, there is Food Adulteration Act separately, Food and Safety Act separately made, which is not the case. And giving money to beggars, government can never legislate. Or giving money to beggars is a personal act which government will never indulge in or involve in making enactment. So certain occupations should not be legalized also, it should be left to the wisdom of the people. Laws on checking the illegal business of duplicate goods, again this is not the case because hooch does not match with duplicate goods, right? Now, so that's what the explanation also given. We'll go to the next question, the last question, statement based question. Moral pluralists maintain that there are moral truths, but they do not form a body of coherent, consistent truths in the way that one finds in science or mathematics. Statement 2, moral truths are real but partial. Now, what is the statement about? Let us dissect the first statement. First statement is comparing moral pluralism with science and mathematics. In science and mathematics, we find concrete formulas. Moral pluralism is a society where we accept that different groups of people with different belief systems live, coexist, and each one have their own way of believing the things. So what is right to me need not be right to the other group. What is right to my group need not be correct to the other group. So there is, but both of us coexist. Now, the commonality is to be brought out during discussions. The broad commonality is brought out when groups of people sit together with the due acceptance that plural society is a composite society where no standard rule exists which is coherent with all the groups. Some way of compromise is required always, right? And definitely when it is so, it is only partial. There is no universal moral for all the groups, right? So that's what the explanation says. Now you see, statement 1 completely supports the statement 2, right? So A is the correct answer. Again, this topic is covered in our material on page number 14. Hope this key helps you in assessing yourself and trying to find out where do you stand. We wish you go to the next round and succeed in your attempt to get into engineering services and serve the nation with all ethical background and professional knowledge and personal wisdom. God bless you all. Thank you. All the best.